So I'm going to share with you how to attract relationships, how to attract romantic relationships, healthy, romantic, long-term relationships in your life so that you can bring in that dream life partner, that soulmate, and really create that life that you really want with someone that you love. Let's get started. Hey superstar, it's Gavin here from Wake Up Fulfilled. Welcome back to my channel. I'm a subconscious mind specialist. I help people reprogram their subconscious personality so they can create the reality that they want automatically. And today we're going to be talking about attracting relationships, all right? How to attract relationships, healthy relationships, long-term relationships. And it's kind of funny, I've had some amazing relationships in my life. I do not have my dream life partner yet. I'm not focused on creating that or manifesting that right now. What I'm focused on is working on my career. However, I've learned some things in my past and some things through studying books and relationship courses and things like this, where I know what I need to do in order to create that in my life. And I've been able to attract amazing relationships in my life, some toxic relationships as well. So you're going to be able to learn from my mistakes and be able to navigate your way through this cloud of relationships and how that works. Because I have discussions with people one-on-one, and people really don't understand what it takes to find someone that's really for you and getting that twin flame or soulmate or life partner that you want in your life. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that I've experienced in my life, and hopefully it can benefit you in a really powerful way. So I wanted to let you know that we do have a really powerful program called Neutrality Shifting Life Mastery available for you, which shows you how to reprogram your subconscious mind for more success, for being more productive, getting more stuff done, taking action, overcoming fear, becoming whole and complete and feeling that sense of confidence, and literally altering your reality using the power of your subconscious mind. If you want to find out more about that, you can get a free subconscious mind diagnosis session at neutralityshifting.com. There'll be a link either above or below this video. And thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. So the first thing we're going to talk about here today is that you need to go ahead and heal your wounds. Okay, so some of you have been in existing relationships before, have been in relationships in the past, should I say. And these relationships have certain wounds, breakups, arguments, and the wounds that you have in terms of what you've seen on television. That tells lies on your vision. So we watch programs, we watch the media, and we see what relationships are supposed to be like. And through that, those are wounds because they're not necessarily realistic, and we get these ideas and perceptions about what a relationship actually is. So it's very important, first of all, is to get rid of your wounds. Those negative wounds and the positive wounds. Negative wounds are wounds where you've been through something in your life, you've had certain experiences in your relationships, you've had traumas, or maybe you've been with someone narcissistic, or maybe you just had a really bad breakup or a divorce or something like this. Even seeing what your parents have been through and the arguments they've been through, just seeing arguments of your friends and families and the problems that they have around relationships. These are all wounds that we have inside of ourselves around relationships. And so we want to heal these aspects of ourselves so that we are over and out of that particular vibrational frequency, because that definitely doesn't resonate with attracting your dream life partner, right? And so we want to eradicate those particular wounds out of our being so we don't resonate on that particular frequency. On the positive aspect, what I mean by positive is that we watch, rom-coms and romantic movies, and we see things on TV, and we get all these ideas and perceptions around what a relationship is supposed to be. Hollywood's perception of romance and relationships and things like this. Now, they can portray to you, sort of a synopsis as what a relationship is like, but in actuality, it's a lot different than what you see on the TV. And so we get this unrealistic idea and concept about what relationships are and how we can use them to facilitate our growth and to build a family, to build a unit. And that in itself is huge conflicts of interest, because you're always searching for this very ecstasy thing. Some people are searching for this big, amazing thing, and they want to get married and all this stuff for all the wrong reasons. It's coming from lack and from what they see on TV, and they don't want to do the work in order to achieve a successful relationship. Okay, these are positive relationship wounds. Okay, we can call them negative, but we have a positive look or aspect on what a relationship should be, but sometimes it's way unrealistic. And I think it's important for you to understand what a genuine healthy relationship is like. It's not what you see on the TV, it's not what you're going to see on the media. You want to go and find someone, maybe your grandparents or people who have had long-term successful relationships, and ask them questions and see what it's like for them and how it was, all right, and how they got to that point of being together for so long. Then you'll learn it's nothing like what they say on the TV, okay? It's work, and they had to go through challenges and figure out each other and all these stuff. So you want to heal these kinds of wounds, because obviously you're going to get misconception around what relationships are, and also the wounds that are stopping you from attracting those healthy romantic relationships. So part of you is going to be pushing, certain people away because it doesn't match with your idea of what relationships should be like, and then there's another part of you pushing the relationships away on a law of attraction level, where like you got these wounds and feeling guilt and shame and embarrassment or whatever it is. Even things about your body, the way you feel about your body and expressing your body, expressing yourself, expressing through communication. All of these things are wounds that we need to heal within inside of ourselves. Now, that's not to say that you need to completely heal, right? You don't need to completely heal. I think you can work on yourself in a relationship, because in a relationship, you guys are like reflections, right? And so you can do the healing during that period, but a lot of it needs to be done prior to attracting a relationship, making sure that you're in a good place to pursue a long-term relationship, and to know that's what you really want, and it comes from an abundant space, not from a space of lack and neediness or wantingness, or wanting that companionship. You are wanting the companionship not from a space of needing, but from a space of wanting, okay? So that's the first one, okay? Heal the wounds. The second one is know your boundaries, okay? You need to know your boundaries. In a relationship, if you don't know what your boundaries are, you're just gonna be walked all over. You're not gonna know if something's right for you or something's wrong for you. And so in my past, like, I got into some relationships. There was like 2 relationships where I didn't really have any boundaries. This was when I was starting to become more spiritual. I had my spiritual awakening. I lost all my boundaries, and I was just like totally empathic and quite sensitive, and literally changed me like pretty much in a very short space of time. I didn't have like this masculine energy anymore. I was totally in the feminine, and I was totally empathic. And so I lost all of my boundaries, and didn't have any boundaries or red flags, and I would accept any kind of bullshit, right? And so in your life, maybe you're empathic, maybe you struggle to create boundaries and stuff like this. And so what I suggest that you do is write down some boundaries, and you have to stick with them no matter how you feel, okay? So if you write it down and you said and you've committed to something, you're loving yourself enough to follow through on those particular boundaries. And if someone penetrates them or breaks those boundaries, then you would have a discussion with them about it. You would express it, you'll communicate, or let them go or move on, whatever it is that you need to do. Boundaries are so important. You need to know what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept, because if you don't know your boundaries, if you don't know what they are, the thing is, the universe doesn't know what to give you, okay? If you're just open to everything, the universe is just going to send you everything. Toxic people, bad people, good people, all kinds of people, and like, you're not finding the one or the right fit for you because you don't have any structure in place. You're not telling the universe, this is what I don't want, this is what I want. This is what I don't want, this is what I want. Once you get clear and you show the universe, I'm sticking to my boundaries, I'm sticking to these particular red flags and stuff like this, now the universe can see, okay, you don't like that kind of people in your life, you don't want that, you don't accept that, you don't accept those behaviors or whatever it is. This is what I want, this is what I want more of, this is what I'm focused on. And so it can bring you or assist you in going ahead and showing, well, having that show up for you. In other words, you're showing your subconscious mind, you're showing yourself, you're showing truth. This is what I want, this is what I want to go after. All right, so that's what you want to do. You want to have those boundaries. The third one here is you need to know what you want. Okay, you need to know what you want out of a relationship. What is it that you want? Do you want to grow? Do you want to expand? Do you want to Find out aspects of yourself that weren't there. Do you want to be more loving? Do you want to have someone to love? Do you want someone to love you? Do you want to build a family? Do you want to get married? Do you want kids? How many kids do you want? Are there any diseases that conflicts? For example, I'm a sickle cell trait. Okay, sickle cell trait. So if I was to have a baby or a child with someone with sickle cell trait, they would have the full-blown sickle cell disease. And so sickle cell is basically when your cells are sickle. They're like, you know, this kind of shape. They're not round how they're supposed to be. They're like this shape. And so if I were to have a child with someone with sickle cell trait, there's a high chance that that child gets sickle cell anemia. All right, and sickle cell anemia is when the cells are sickled like this, and so they have like pains in their body. They have all these crazy experiences, and a lot of people in the African community have this disease in India and things like this, where people live quite close to the equator. The reason they have this particular condition is because the mosquitoes have things like malaria, and so the cells are shaped that way so that people don't get malaria or spread malaria, things like this. It's very interesting, actually. And so actually was in a relationship recently where she had sickle cell trait. Okay, and so when I realized that we could have kids together, there's like another reason for us not to be together and be together long term, because we both want more kids. We was afraid that, you know, maybe if we have kids together, it won't go right. That's not to say you can't have kids without sickle cell anemia, but that was the case. So it's things like this. You need to know in the dating period. You need to know what you want before dating. But when you're in a dating period, you need to ask these kind of questions. Do you want to get married? How many kids do you want to have? You know, do you want to live in a house or a flat, or, you know, an apartment? Where do you want to live in the world? Blah, blah, blah. Things like this needs to be communicated as you're dating. And I believe it takes around 6 months to really get to know someone, because people find it really hard to keep up this persona. You know, when you first meet someone, you know, they find it hard to keep up this persona. When you meet someone, you kind of show a little bit of a front. You know, you have more energy and you show up differently, and you're not really showing your true self. And it's not until like later on down the line that you start to relax and become more comfortable. When people become comfortable, right, they show their real traits. They show their real like habits and behaviors. And so I believe it takes around 6 months to really get to know someone. So be selective around who you date for that period of time, because obviously you want to be someone who you think's, you know, a good person, and you think it will like lead to something where you'll be in a long-term relationship. And so there's a 6 month period where you really need to get to know someone and ask these kinds of questions and really get to know them on that level, so that you are both on the same page. Do they need to be into personal growth? Do they need to be spiritual? Do they need to be wanting kids? Or do they want to travel? You know, all the things that you want to do. Because again, you know, if you don't know what you want and they don't know what they want, it's going to be very confusing going down the line. And then you're like, oh, I want this. I want things to do like this. And then you're both disagreeing because you never discussed it in the beginning. And so it's very important for you to identify these things and ask very good questions in the dating period. Okay, so know what you want. Write down a list of things that you want. Number 4 is know what they want. Okay, so again, communication, knowing what they want. What do they want out of their lives? What are their goals? What are their ambitions? What direction are they going in? Is it a fit for you? Do you like what they do? Are you interested in what they do? And can you support them in what they do and things like this? Because, you know, the reality is you want to have 2 separate people who are whole and complete, right? And they love themselves and all these things, okay? And what happens is you want to come together and have your own goals, your own ambitions, and things that you want to do. Okay, and that could be a variety of different things. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be like you have to be, you know, having this career or anything like that. It might be that you just want to be a really good mom or a really good parent or a really good family member or whatever it is, right? You have these goals, all right, and you both have your separate goals and separate directions that you're going in, but you also want to have goals together. Okay, so once you know what each other wants, some of your goals will match up and you can have goals together. Okay, so you need to know what they want out of a relationship, what their goals. And sometimes there's going to be a mismatch, but like you kind of desire to be more of what they want, and you would want to, like, you know, support them with that and like compromise in some way, shape or form. and build those bonds between you, and just understanding each other on that level. So you need to know what you want, and they need to know what they want. Okay, very important. If they don't know what they want, I suggest not moving forward with this particular relationship, because they're gonna continue to be with you, sleep with you, kiss you, hug you, build this connection with you. Their emotions are gonna get stronger and stronger, but they don't know what they want, and they don't know what direction they're going in, and that can lead to just heartache, because they don't really know. Okay, so for someone like myself, if I'm getting into a relationship, I know that right now, where I'm at right now, my level of consciousness and stuff like this, I know that if I'm going to get into a relationship, it's going to be marriage. Like, it's going to be long term. It's going to be something that's going to be a long term relationship. Okay, and so I would need to be with someone that's not into. For example, for me, I would need to be with someone that's not into the typical kind of marriage, having the contract and all this stuff. I believe in spiritual kinds of marriage, and so my idea about marriage is not about the government and like changing names and all of this stuff. It's not what the system tells me. Again, these are things that we learn from society and the television and all this stuff. And so I design how I want my relationship to be. And I know there are many people out there that think the same way about marriage and relationships. All right, so there's that. All right, and so again, know what they want, know what outcomes they want, what they want in life, and go for that. All right. Next is number 5 here is compatibility. All right, so you need to be compatible. Okay, you need to have, I would say, 85 to 90% compatible, where you guys just click. Okay, it's not having to figure it out and like having to battle with each other and all this stuff. You guys just click and you sink in, and things just work very, very smoothly. And then the rest you can work on and compromise and talk about and discuss and whatever. And so if you're not compatible, it's going to be a real struggle going forward. Okay, it's very, very important to know that you can fall in love with someone that you're not compatible with. All right, I'm just going to stress this out. You can fall in love with someone that you are not compatible with. It doesn't mean it's supposed to be a long-term relationship. Okay, emotions are different from compatibility. All right, if you fall in love with someone and you're in love and all of this stuff, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're the right fit for each other. All right, that you're gonna last long term or whatever it is. So you got to be careful with your emotions. You got to be careful with your heart and who you fall in love with. Okay, you got to fall in love with someone that you're compatible with. That's what's gonna make it long term. So be careful who you give away your love to. So let's talk a little bit deeper on that. The first things that a lot of people tend to do in this day and age is they figure out if they're compatible on a sexual level, on a physical level, before understanding this person. And it's just a natural thing that we do. We have things like one night stands, we have sexual relationships or sex partner or whatever it is, and we have these things, and then we tend to build relationships after that. We tend to have sex pretty early, within the first week or first month, and we don't really know this person. We're just connecting with them, and on a physical level, because sex is a high drive, is a high emotion, and people like to feel good and they want to connect in that way and get physical. And it's very challenging to do the opposite of that. And so I've made videos on semen retention and things like this, and you want to wait a while before getting physical. You want to wait a long time before getting physical with them. If you can't do that, then there's something wrong. Like that you are chasing after something which is in like religions, they have it set up in a way where sex comes after marriage. Why? There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, because you're supposed to get to know someone spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Okay, I don't know if you can see that there. You're supposed to get to know someone emotionally, mentally, spiritually before physically. All right, and so that's how it's supposed to be done. Like, I mean, and I'm not saying that like it has to be that way. I think relationships can work and come together in all different kinds of ways, but it's more secure and more structured when you get to know them on an emotional level first, a mental level first, the spiritual level first. Once you understand them in that way, the physical part is going to be way better, because it's not about necessarily the motion in the ocean and all of these things that we come up with, but because you have this strong connection, Okay, the connection is much deeper than the actual physical part, and the physical part becomes way more explosive, powerful, healing, and all these things because you've really gotten to know this person. Whereas if you do it the opposite way around, you know, it's just good or bad, and like, you know, you make up your mind and whatever, right? And so we need to understand that when it comes to having sexual intercourse with someone, we can get confused in that as well and believe that we love this person and like we got like these feelings about this person and all this stuff when it's not actually real stuff. And then we end up like wanting to make love with them all the time and have sex with them all the time because that's where you feel love, that's where you feel connection with them. And so you do it quite a lot, or you know, you're always wanting to do it because that's where you feel that connection, that thing, whatever it is. But if you build these other parts beforehand, where you build the emotional, where you build the mental, and getting to know their psychology, getting to know their subconscious mind and how they work and how they think, and getting to know their spirituality and like you know, them on a spiritual level in terms of their faith, or you know, what they're into, or how they think about spirituality and stuff like this. Now like it's a much deeper connection. You don't necessarily need the sex. It's like you want to connect with that person and show them you know, how you feel about them, and you want to connect with them in that way, and you want to share this energy. Okay, and the thing is, you want to see your body as a temple. All right, you want to see your body as, you know, this most beautiful thing in the world, and you only want to share it with the right kinds of people, and you want to be very selective. And so if you find this person just amazing, like they're loving, they're caring, and you know, all of this stuff, you know, then you can consider doing that if you're seeing yourself in that particular way. Okay, you have to see yourself as very special, and when you do that, you approach relationships very, very differently. What I will say is that sometimes we can get confused around game. Okay, so you know, game is you know, how you talk to a woman, or a guy will talk to a woman, and vice versa. And some people use that just to get sex. Okay, some people use that just to get in bed with you. Okay, and so we want to understand that you know, some people are going to use tactics and manipulation to go and make you feel a specific way so that you'll sleep with them. All right, and so these are the people you have to be careful of. And when you feel that intuition, that gut feeling that this person's not right, or this person's playing a game, you got to be alert. You got to be, you know, knowing you know, what these people are after, what their intentions are, and really get to know this. So if you ask someone like, what's your intention with me, and they hesitate, you know, they don't know what they want really, like, you know. And so if they don't hesitate and they tell you, hey, like I want to get to know you, I want to understand you more, I want to get to know your mind, I want to get to know your emotions, and they're saying all the right things in terms of that, then there we go. But if they're just like a bit confused, they're a bit hesitant, they don't even know why they're dating. Like, they don't even know why they're dating, they don't even know why they're doing all this stuff. So you want to ask them questions where they have you know, kind of triggers like a specific response or reaction. All right, and if you do that and they're like hesitant and they're like, you know, their tone changes, right, and stuff like this, sometimes, you know, they're just taken off guard. Sometimes it's just they don't know what they want, and that's one of the steps. Okay, they need to know what they want and what they want out of a relationship and stuff like this. Okay, so it's very, very important to understand that some people, they're going to be just about physical sex, connection, quick companionship, whatever it is. And so if that's not something that you want, and you want something long term, then obviously you want to, you know, weed those people out and attract those people that you really want. Okay, so very important to get to know someone on an emotional level, spiritual level, mental level, before the physical level, if you want the relationship to last long term. All right, so those are my 5 tips to attracting a relationship. Number 1 is heal your wounds. Number 2 is know your boundaries. Number 3 is know what you want. Okay, you know what you want. Number 4 is know what they want. Okay, And number 5 is compatibility. You need to click. Okay, you need to click together, and that way you get to know them on an emotional level, mental level, spiritual level before the physical level. Okay, and that's gonna help attract the right relationship into your life and have that life partner, soulmate, and things like this. Okay, so with that being said, like I said before, I recently launched a new program called Neutrality Shifting Life Mastery, and it helps you reprogram your subconscious mind. So if you got wounds and you got blocks around relationships and stuff like this program will definitely shift all of those particular blocks and get rid of them. It can also help you with taking action, overcoming fear, feeling whole and complete, and also altering your reality. Okay, so if you want to see that if you qualify for that particular program, you can get a free subconscious mind diagnosis session at neutralityshifting.com. There'll be a link above or below this video. If you've got any questions, leave your comments below and I'll answer your questions every Friday. And that's about it. Okay, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching my videos all the way through. I really appreciate it when you do that, and liking and subscribing. I really appreciate you. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel. And remember to keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.